Hi, I'm Jesse at strobepro.com, and today I'm going to be showing you the brand new Strobepro 300M studio strobe. Let's take a look what's inside the box. So the first thing you're going to get is the unit itself. The protection cover will be on here. All of the 300s also come with the standard 7-inch reflector, which you're going to use with umbrellas and our 7-inch grid set. You're going to have the power cable. You'll also get a sync cable here, the modeling lamp, and then you'll also have the receiver that we'll show you a little bit later. Like all Strobepro strobes, this is really easy to get set up. Let me show you how. First off, we need to put the strobe on the stand, and you're going to notice a thumb nut right here, and all we're going to do, back this out, and it's going to drop on top of any light stand. It can be a Strobepro stand or any other brand. This is just going to go straight on top here. It drops in and just tighten it down. So really easy, make sure it's tight. This lever over here is our tilt lever, so we loosen that off, which allows us to tilt the strobe up and down. So you just want to make sure that that's tight afterwards. The next thing that we want to do is use the accessory release lever here. That's this silver piece that's sticking out. What you do is you pull that back and it releases a pin. That allows us to turn the cover a quarter turn counterclockwise, which then releases the pin. Now what we can do is add our modeling lamp in the middle there. Now this is a 150 watt modeling lamp, and you don't want to touch any of the glass with your bare fingers. So using this foam or a cloth that you would use on your sunglasses or something is a good idea. And this just assembles just like it would with a regular light bulb. Turn it in there until it stops. You don't want to over tighten it. And now that's assembled. Make sure you're handling the glass and any of the flash tubes with the power unplugged. You never want to be working with it with power connected. Now that we've got that assembled, we've got our 7-inch reflector right here. And you're going to notice on the reflector that there's a hole right here. This punch out is actually for the umbrella. So an umbrella shaft would slide through there. So we would need to knock this out. And basically you just push it, wiggle it around, and that piece is going to drop out and you can discard that. Now you're going to see these 3 pins right here. This is what we call a Bowen's mount, and all Strobepro products use this accessory mount. So whether it's a softbox, a reflector like this, a beauty dish, they're all going to use the same thing. And what they do is line up with the front of the strobe. So just like this, 1, 2, 3, we're going to see 1, 2, 3. Now with that hole that we just opened up, that's going to be on the bottom. So make sure it's on the bottom. All we're going to do, line that up, make sure it goes in even, push against it, and give it a quarter turn clockwise. You're going to hear it lock in. Now that reflector's secured, it can't come off until we push this accessory release again. And again, to take it off, we just pull that back, quarter turn the other way, and it comes right back out. So really simple. That's the way you attach any Strobepro accessory to the light. From there, what you're going to do is you're going to take your power cable, and your power cable goes right in the back slot here, and you're using the end right here and simply straight in the back. When they're new, they're a little bit tight. Don't overforce it. Then the other end is just going to plug into your wall and we're good to go. So let's do that now and we'll take a look at the functions on the strobe. So we've got the strobe on the stand. It's powered up. Now we just need to turn the power switch on, which is right here. With that turned on, right away you're going to see a blue light here. This is the modeling lamp. If I push that, the modeling lamp is off. If I turn that on, you're going to see the LED light up, and then I'm going to be using this control knob to turn up the power. And you'll be able to see as I turn this up, the power goes up as well. Turn it down, it goes down. And again, if I want to turn that modeling lamp off, just push the modeling lamp button over here. Now, very similar with the power over on the other side. Right now it's showing OF, which just means that the strobe power is off. When I turn this, you're going to see that the minimum power level is 5 on this strobe. So you can dial this up in 1/10 increments all the way up to 8. So this power level goes from 5 to 8, which represents going all the way down to 1/32 of its power. If I turn this power down, it will automatically dump the charge that's stored up in the capacitor here, so your next shot will be exposed properly. The next button over here that says sound, if we push that, you're going to see the light light up. Now when we turn the dial, you're going to hear it beep every time. Also, when it flashes, it will beep when it's recycled as well. Now, I find it annoying sometimes to have that on all the time, so I usually like to have that off. The button over here is our test button, so pushing that will fire the strobe at any point in time. Now we have a slave here. Now this is one way that you can trigger this strobe. With this activated, what that means with the blue light on is that any flash that is fired with the slave turned on is going to trigger the strobe. That could be a pop-up flash from your camera, another strobe, another speed light. That works by line of sight. And what we're looking at, this optical slave, which is this little button right up on the top here, that's always looking for the light. It's the sensor, the optical slave there. Now, if we turn this, if we push this again, you're going to see the color change. This is a mode if you were using a TTL speed light or your pop-up flash. It ignores the first burst and then fires on the second. You're only going to use this in a very special circumstance, so I highly recommend don't use that mode unless you have a specific reason to do that. If you're using slave at all, we're going to use it with the blue lamp lit there, which is a normal slave. So the optical slave is one way to trigger your strobe. Your strobe also comes with what's called a PC sync cable, which just means that one end of this cable would plug in over here to the PC sync port, and then the other end would plug into your camera. Then when you push the shutter, your camera would fire. Not every camera has a PC sync port, so it's there in case of an emergency, but I really wouldn't use that mode. Okay, so we showed you two methods how to fire this strobe, one being the optical slave, which sometimes isn't great because any flash would fire it, and then the other being the sync cable, which also isn't great because then you're attached to a cable and not every camera has a PC sync port on it. By far the best way to trigger this is with the radio control. Now in the box you'll remember this receiver came with it. Now every strobe comes with that. What doesn't come included is the XTM transmitter. You'll need one of these to control multiple strobes. Now this transmitter works on any camera, so you don't have to worry about camera brand on this guy. It's single pin firing, so really easy. So let's show you how to use the wireless settings on this strobe. Now the first thing that you're going to notice on the actual receiver unit itself, it's got a little USB port. So you're going to flip that up, and where this inserts on the strobe, on the back left of the strobe, underneath this protective cover, you're just going to kind of pull that out, and it looks like a USB port in there. So simply making sure that the long part of this receiver is pointing back. This is just going to plug into the side, push it in, and now it's made its connection. There is no battery in this, so you don't have to worry. It powers itself from the actual strobe. Now, you're going to see on the side here these little dip switches, and then we've got a dial over here. All we need to make sure we do is match these dip switches, which is the channel, with the channel on the transmitter. Okay, so right now those are all facing down. Over here, we make sure they're all facing down. And you can look in the manual, there's a channel guide if there's a specific channel you want. All we're making sure is that they match. Now the other thing that we want to do is make sure that the group selection dial is matching as well. So on here, we're on A right now. So I'm just gonna make sure that we're on A on the transmitter, which we are, and that's done just by turning the dial to whatever group you want. Now, if we had multiple strobe units here and we wanted to control them all individually, we would just turn our second strobe to group B, group C, group D, and so on, if we want to control them individually. That way on the transmitter, we're just going to turn to that group that we want to control, adjust the power and settings, and it will fire off with the other ones. So let's power on the control unit here and go from there. So the power button is right on the side here. Flip that up, and this is using 2 AA batteries inside of it. Now what you're going to see when you turn that on, it's showing 1/128. This can be used with our Strobepro speed lights and some of our X-Pro strobes. We need to change this into the mode that it's supposed to be in. So on this strobe, the 300M series, it uses from 5 to 8. To get into that mode, we're just going to hold the set button here for a second, and now you see it change. This mode is from 1 to 7, and we're just going to hold it once more. This mode is from 5 to 8. Okay, so when you see the 5, now we're connected. Let's just make sure we're connected by hitting the test button, and the strobe fires so we know we're connected. Okay, so we've got the receiver in the channel, we've got the groups and the channel matched, so everything should be working properly. We're just going to hit the test button here. Yes, it's firing. Are we on the proper group? Let's use the plus and minus button here. Yeah, you can see the power changing when I do that, so we're connected and ready to go here. So it's as simple as that to change the power on the strobe. Just use the plus and minus arrow button. If you want to turn this strobe off, push them both together, and you're going to see the strobe as OF, which turns that one off. So that's useful if you had background lights or something you didn't want to fire with the other ones. Push it again. I can just push the plus or minus button and it'll turn it back on. Over here, the set button, we already showed you that, how to change the mode. We want to be in 5 to 8. Now we've got our beep or buzz here again, which every time we change the power, it will beep. And then when we fire, it recycles super fast, so it'll beep right away. This strobe is very fast, actually. And then we've got our lamp button over here, which turns the modeling lamp on. So wherever you have the dial on the front set, so this dial, when I turn the lamp button on, it'll just set it to that point. So you can see in the back there, I push it again, it'll turn it right off. So when this transmitter is on your camera hot shoe, when you push your shutter release, it's going to fire the strobe instantly in sync. And the maximum sync speed on this strobe is 1/250th of a second. So the strobe is also fan cooled, which is really nice. So it'll stay nice and cool. You don't have to worry about it overheating. And one of the other features I should show you about the umbrella mount, how to put the umbrella in there with our reflector. So let's take a look at that right now. So a lot of people get confused, how do you actually install an umbrella onto a strobe? So let me just show you quickly. First thing is pop open your umbrella. Now you'll remember that we put the hole of the reflector to the bottom here. So that's this hole right here. And the umbrella shaft is just going to go through there. And then in the bottom of the strobe, you're going to have a hole. And it's just going right through there. And we're just loosening off the tension knob. So the umbrella shaft can go through. Put the umbrella in. Tighten that down. And then it's set. Then you've got your umbrella installed and we're ready to go. So that's been the Strobepro 300M. This is a fantastic, small, compact strobe with wireless capability. It's super fast to recycle, fan cooled, full metal construction. It's really a great strobe at a really affordable price. If you have any questions, check out our website. And until next time, I'm Jesse at strobepro.com.